What's up, everyone? This is going to be a comparison video of the CZ75 SP01 Shadow here and the CZ75 Shadow 2 here in Urban Gray. These are both part of the CZ75 series. If you look on the CZ website and you look at the 75 series full size, these will both be listed. Now if you go to the competition tab, only the Shadow 2 will be listed. This one discontinued, but you can still find this. You can still find this at the same website that I bought this from. And truth be told, since I got this on sale, this one was more expensive than this one by $30 after everything, after tax, shipping, and the transfer fee at the same range that I'm a member at. Same price. This one was $30 more than this one, if you can believe that. These are two entirely different guns. Now, they're both part of the 75 series. They're both competition pistols. But when I look at them and when I use them, there's not a lot of similarities. The controls are different. The finish is different. The sights, they're both fiber optic front, blacked out rear, but they're different fiber optic front and different blacked out rear. The magazine release, both extended, but one is different than the other. The slide lever stop, I think, is like one thing between the two that is the same. Even the accessory rail is a different design from one to the other. The slide serrations are different. The finish is different. The hand grips, these ones came with crappy rubber ones. These ones are the awesome aluminum ones that cost $100 on the CZ website. So these are two entirely different firearms. The weight is noticeably different. The size is noticeably different. This one is bigger and heavier by a slight amount. The weight by a large amount, but the size-wise, as in this one is like 4.8 inch, this one is like 4.6 inch barrel. But you notice the weight for sure. Now, they both have really nice triggers that are both adjustable. They both have a screw here, right here, that you can turn clockwise, so turn it downwards, and you can keep going until you can adjust it so the trigger pull is as light as you can make it. So I have done that with this one and with the Shadow 2. Now right out of the box, when you get them, they don't come adjusted at all. You have to move the screw, I would say like this one, like 14 turns, like 12 to 14 turns I did with the Allen key that it came with, which is the same one for the Shadow 2. So put it in here, turn it downwards, and you can keep going. And what it does is this little screw here, it reduces the travel of the trigger to engage the hammer. So here, there's always a little bit of take up usually on the 75 series, not so much here on the Shadow 2. That's why I said it's a completely different pistol. It looks the same, it's from the same manufacturer, it's part of the 75 series, but they're two different guns. Which I think is cool though at the same time, because you get to enjoy what's cool about each one of them and what you like and dislike, blah, 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 and what you wish you could change, yada, yada, yada. So here we are. So the trigger pull on this one, little bit of take up, right? That was always like that. The difference is how much when you get to the wall here, it took to engage the hammer. So after I made the adjustment, now it's really short. So you see how short that was? When it comes right out of the box, it's a lot longer than that. So I wanted to make sure I showed you that so that this is what it's like fully adjusted. In my opinion, you can go further, the screw can go further, but when you go even further, you get to like the wall and then it just feels weird. Like the hammer goes off when you're barely pushing. It's just not a natural feel. Now the Shadow 2 right out of the box was a lot nicer, but this one, when it's little bit of take up, very little, and then to engage here doesn't take much at all. And the reset is shorter too on this one when single action versus this one. You also can see that the finish is different. This one is called the Black Polycoat. This is the same one that's on like the 75 and the SP01. This finish is way different. And it's super slick, and I don't think it's a benefit in my opinion. I have small hands though, so the finish makes it hard to manipulate the slide for me. I find myself having to really dig into the serrations and pull back. It's not easy for me, and because if you notice, that the design of the slide, that it's like rounded here, and it's not the same on this one. So that's why I keep saying these are entirely different firearms. So this one is a little bit rounded and then it goes flat like this. And this finish, way different. These serrations, you can get some good grip on. So here, I don't have a problem at all manipulating the slide on this one. So if that's one thing that I could change is how to manipulate the slide, I would just take this finish and put it on the slide. I understand that this finish is really nice, and when you see it on the inside too, and after you go to clean the pistol, this finish cleans up super nice, but it is super slick, and I love the texture already on this finish. It gives good grip. It's minor, I think, because it's a competition pistol, but if it was a duty pistol, that would be like a game changer for me, is this slick finish I really don't like. It's minor, and I may be exaggerating because I have small hands, but when I'm trying to rack the first round, it's kind of frustrating, I'll be honest. I also find myself trying to pinch the rear sight a little bit and do it this way. So it's a combination of the finish. Even though the serrations are nice, the finish is just slick. I just can't say it enough. It's slick. It's not the same as this black polycoat finish at all. Now I love the color and I love these grips. These are just cheap grips I bought off Amazon. They're, you know, those knockoff G10s, which is like plastic, I think. So they work, they fit, and actually, I actually quite like them. Now, these aluminum ones are a lot nicer. I can say that I changed these grips because the original ones that it came with, the cheap rubber ones, not very comfortable. And you could take it like this and you could flip the rubber grip up. So it wasn't really durable either. Eventually, I would like to get these metal grips for this too, but these are expensive. These are like $100. So something to think about though. Now, I do like the magazine release on both of them. They're both extended, so you can see that this one is extended also, and it works just fine. This one is just maybe a little bit overkill. There is a screw here that you can adjust, this also. I believe this is what this Allen key is for here, because this one came with 2 Allen keys, so this is the Allen key to adjust this here. I believe somebody said you can adjust the angle of it. I also am going to talk about the safety I want to switch out too. That's another thing that I wasn't too much of a fan of, that is a difference between the two, and I really like it better on this one than on this one. So somebody made a comment that says, what do you need the safety for? Well, it's a competition pistol, so I don't actually really need it, but since it doesn't have a grip safety, when I'm at the range, it's just a habit to put the safety on. And this one, as you can see, is almost flat. There's barely anything to push upwards. So it's just a design miss, I would say. They could have done much better. Now, somebody also made a comment, said that it's for the competition shooting, yada yada factory. Okay, I get that, but it could be better, and I really like this safety here because it acts as like a shelf for your thumb, and it's easy to engage up and down, no problem. The safeties on both are ambidextrous, but this one, I prefer this style. The Shadow 2 actually came with an extra. This is it here. So you see it's that style on one side and then the flat style on the other side. So they must have recognized that some people just aren't really going to like this, and they included this in the box. And I haven't messed with this yet, but this is one thing that I'm going to change on this. And I may even buy this version from Cajun Gun Works and put it on here as well, because I really do like this, which is an option you can buy from them. Now let's talk about the sights. Both have fiber optic front sights, both have blacked out rear sights, but they're not the same fiber optic front sight, and they're not the same rear sight. So let's start with the SP01 Shadow. You see the fiber optic, you can see the whole fiber optic, right? It's got the blacked out rear that is not adjustable. You see it has a set screw here, holds it in place. Now we'll look at the Shadow 2 one. You'll see it's different. So you see the front fiber optic here, you can't see the whole fiber optic, and it's taller if you notice. The rear sight here is blacked out, but it is adjustable. So you see it has a screw here where it says up, and it also has 2 set screws here also. So it is a little bit different. This one is also bigger and heavier. This one is 6 ounces heavier, so you definitely notice the weight difference. When you use the same ammo, I like the extra weight. When I looked at the, the 75 compact, it's only like 2 ounces lighter than the 75B. That's great. I actually like the weight, and now that's something I look for to see how heavy it is. I'm looking at the Beretta 9211 because it weighs 2 pounds, it's all metal, hammer fired, and it's got an optics cut on it. So I think that might be my next one to throw in the mix, because this has a lot of features I really like, but there's just a few things on it that I'm just like, oh, blasé. I gotta change the safety, but the sights are money. I wish that the SP01 Shadow came with these sights. Adjusting them was super easy. The first time I used this, I didn't adjust or play with anything at all. I just wanted to see what it was like fresh out of the box. And then I adjusted just the sight here in the rear a few clicks and haven't messed with it since. I did a few clicks on the trigger and haven't messed with it since. This right out of the box, superb. Way nicer than this one. This one is basically like the SP01, and they changed the springs and the safety. It's not, I don't think, the same caliber here. Now we're talking money. These were close to the same price. This one was actually more expensive, if I can be honest, than this one. I found this one on sale though. And this is being discontinued, this urban gray color. Not the Shadow 2, but this color is being discontinued. So keep looking online and see if you can find it on sale like I did. This is less refined than this is. When you start with this one and then go to this one, you notice the lack of refinement, and you notice that this one is just a little bit tier above. The feel in the hand, the grip, they're both 75 series. The serrations I don't think really makes that much of a difference, but the extra weight is here in the frame, and the grip angle here on the beaver tail is different here on the Shadow 2. So I do prefer the bigger, heavier, more contoured grip to this one. I think that this is great, but this is amazing. I can't believe that this one actually cost more than this one. That's why I was so excited to get this. And then after I used it for the first time and then getting to adjust it, I'm so surprised that I didn't find something like this a lot sooner. I think everybody needs to get themselves a nice hammer fired, heavier metal pistol and then just see if you like it or not. Because I can tell you that I don't even really want to go back to the polymer ones for any reason anymore. You know, they're not as fun to shoot. These are so accurate. I was doing the thing at the range where you try to get all of the red out of the target, and for the first time I think that I actually have the capability to do that, and that when I miss, I know that it was me and it's not the gun. So when you have a gun of this caliber, either one of these, I highly recommend, if you can afford it, getting one. Helps build confidence at the range too, because you get a nice piece like this, then you really get a feel for, hey, you know what? I'm actually not that bad. Or I may have a little bit to work on, or I gotta work on my trigger control, yada, yada, yada. But these are two entirely different guns. They're both performance models, but definitely I see the Shadow 2 as a way bigger upgrade than the SP01 Shadow. This one, I think, that is a little too close to the regular 75 SP01, to be honest. They just changed a few of the springs and removed the firing pin block. The trigger is nicer, that is noticeable. The safety is nicer, but it still had the crappy rubber grips. It was the same magazine release, but they just extended it. So they didn't change a lot. This is a whole new ground up design, and it is fantastic. It even has an accessory rail for a light if you want one, which I don't think it needs as a competition pistol, but it's a nice touch. I really do think that this platform here is one of the greatest platforms to shoot. I like the 1911 platform, but I'm a big 75 series fan for sure. I actually shot my 1911 before I shot either one of these the other day. I started off with my 1911 Garrison in 45 just to get warmed up so that I could have a little bit of a control. So when I do these back to back, I can have a little bit of adjustment from caliber, weight, so on and so forth, different sights, different length of the sights, 5-inch versus this, 4.6, 4.8. So not making excuses or anything, trying to do my best with both. And I look at the targets. The Shadow 2 I can do better with. It's just a nicer pistol. The trigger is nicer. Even adjusting this one all the way isn't as nice as the Shadow 2. But the good thing is you can use the magazines interchangeably because they're both 75 series, and it'll take the 17 rounds, the 16 round ones, and the 19 round ones. This is a 17 with a +2 extension. They come like this with the SP01 Shadow. This one came with just the 17 round magazines, and then I bought this extensions off of Top Gun Supply. This one also on the inside is different and has the ability to be altered a little bit more. The recoil spring has these little plastic pieces that it comes with, and they're different thicknesses that you can see. So on the recoil spring, it has this little pad on here, and you can change the thickness of that pad. Now, Cajun Gun Works sells different spring weights, and it says that this one comes with a 14-pound spring. I don't know what this one comes with. I do know the 75B comes with a 16-pound, and the SP01 comes with a 20-pound spring. So I am looking to replace that one. So you can actually further modify these and get lower weight springs still for these, like 10-pound springs, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's what they sell. This one, I believe, is what they said is 14 on their website. I gotta believe this is close to the same. So if you were looking to get either one of these, they're both still available, but they're both actually discontinued. I would get the Shadow 2, especially for the same price. There's no reason to get this one over this one. This one is a much improved model, and I think that you will like the extra weight and the enhanced trigger. The trigger on this is ludicrous. They're both great, don't get me wrong. CZ triggers are nice. Even the factory double single actions are nice. But we're talking the difference between an old school Ferrari versus a new school Ferrari. This one is really, really cool. You can't go wrong with either model. These CZ75 series models pistols are some of the best money that you can spend on a firearm, in my opinion. The dollars that you get for performance is worth it for sure. There's a lot of different firearms that they sell that the price for performance, you don't get a whole lot. Can't say that about CZ. You get a lot for what you pay for them. So if you're interested in an all-metal hammer-fired pistol, check out the CZ75 line of pistols. Stay tuned for more like content. Smash that like button. Drop me with some comments. If you have any questions, let me know. See you on the next one.